Hey everyone, what's up and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm super excited to give you guys a spoiler-free review of the latest movie, Ghostbusters Afterlife. If you guys didn't know, I'm a really big Ghostbusters fan. I feel like I've never really talked about Ghostbusters on my channel, but I love the original movie. I think it's one of my favorite 80s movies. And when this movie was announced, I was super hyped, and I'm so happy that after what feels like forever, after the delays of 2020, this movie finally came out and I never stopped being excited. And I'm just really pleased to announce that I really liked this movie, so I'm excited to tell you guys all of my thoughts, what's great about it, and also some things that I wish the movie had done a little bit better. But before I get into all of my thoughts, make sure to let me know down below in the comment section what you guys thought of Ghostbusters Afterlife. And if you haven't seen the movie, let me know if you're excited to watch it or if this is one that you might end up skipping. And like I said in my intro, this review will be spoiler free, so anybody can watch this movie whether you've seen the movie or not. And let's just get started talking about Ghostbusters Afterlife. When a single mom and her two kids arrive in a small town, they begin to discover their connection to the original Ghostbusters and the secret legacy their grandfather left behind. So the first thing that I want to talk about is the cast of this movie, because a cast can make or break the movie, and I'm really happy that this cast really made the movie. And before I even talk about the individual actors themselves, I just want to praise the movie because usually remakes, reboots, sequels, whatever you want to call them, they focus a lot on the legacy characters of the franchise that made it famous, and I really appreciated that this movie didn't really do that at all, because obviously based on the synopsis and the trailers, there's little tidbits here and there of them, the original Ghostbusters, but this movie, if you watch it, like, it very much is focused on this new family, these new set of characters, and not just having them be the main characters, but like not really focus on them, if you get what I mean. And I hope that future remakes, reboots, sequels look at Ghostbusters Afterlife and take into consideration that they really just made these characters stand on their own. We love legacy characters, but I think that's one of my biggest pet peeves with these sequels, is that they don't really develop the new set of generation, and I'm just happy that this movie really took into consideration that and developed these characters, especially my favorite of the movie, Phoebe, played by Mckenna. I loved her. Mckenna really stole the show for me. She was great, and I did not expect to love her as much, and what I really liked about her character was that she does have this connection, just really wants to reconnect with these Ghostbusters, and that's something that's definitely in the movie. But way before that, we already have a character. We already know what type of person she is, literally just by the opening scene, which I loved. And you kind of just get that from everybody in the opening scene. There's the opening scenes, then the title, and then the actual like movie opening, if you get what I mean. Also just establishes what's kind of happening early on with giving us a few like hints as to what's gonna come, and it was really exciting. But I loved Mckenna. I loved her sense of dry humor. I thought she was great. The jokes weren't pushy. They were like genuinely funny. Her dry humor was like so my humor. I was like, yes, Phoebe, yes. And then Wolfhard is also in this movie. He plays Trevor, Phoebe's brother, and I also liked him. He didn't really do like too much, you know what I mean? Like, I think he was just like he was definitely in the movie, but he was just acting like Finn Wolfhard always acts, which is good, so I enjoyed him. There was also somebody else that I just really liked, Logan Kim. He played a character named Podcast, and yeah, I'm not making this up. I thought it was so funny. I thought he was so adorable. It's just the entire movie I kept thinking, where are his parents? And obviously we have Paul Rudd in the movie, and I mean, what's not to like about Paul Rudd? But he did a great job. I liked his character, and I liked how he was introduced into the storyline, and how him and Phoebe really had this connection through science, which I thought was super interesting. And we also had Carrie Coon, who played Callie, who is the mom of Phoebe and Trevor. Her character does have a little bit of flaws that I'm about to mention right now, and this is kind of the part where I'm gonna just talk about like something that I wish the movie had done better, and it's honestly the only like flaw that I have with the movie, because I thought everything else was pretty great, but this one thing, or I should say two things, I think should have been better, should have been explored a little bit more. It's gonna be really difficult to really talk about it without spoilers, so it might not make sense to people that haven't seen the movie. Sometimes in movies there are characters that have a reaction early on in the movie. It's a part of their character trait. They responded to something that happened in their past in a particular way, and Callie's character definitely had that. I think it's always a good idea to have a character that already has trauma, you know what I mean, because it kind of just like it helps you understand how they respond to certain things around them and how they treat people. But I feel like this response that she had switched like in an instant towards the end. I feel like it was very fast how it happened, and I honestly, when I was watching it, I didn't really think much of it. I was like, oh yay, like, you know what I mean, like I'm happy she got over that. But I also think it wasn't as realistic as possible, because based on like literally the movie's runtime, except the last like 30 minutes, we are with this character who, you know, has this strong feeling about something. I think the writers thought that we as an audience would believe that this character that we've been introduced with that has this type of attitude would switch that instantly. And I'm not to say that I don't like the resolution of the film. I love the third act. I think the third act is great, but I wish there was a little bit more turbulence in that like middle between in the first like hour of the movie and in the last 30 minutes with her, because I think it could have made the movie a lot better. This movie also had incredible cinematography and directing. Loved the way this movie looked. The town that these people are in is very not cute, but the cinematography was great. I loved all the wide angles that we got to really immerse ourselves into this place, and also the visual effects of this movie are great. They looked really realistic and I loved them a lot. There were a lot of really cool, interesting little ghosts and creatures. This movie didn't have as many ghosts as I expected, but I'm pretty fine with the amount of ghosts that we got. Like I said, I really like how this movie really focused in on this family and made sure to pay attention to that. And although we really do have a lot of funny ghost sequences, you know, I think the number that they had of ghosts and all of that stuff was pretty great. And the villain of the movie. So I thought the villain of the movie was pretty good. There was something that happened towards the end that I kind of thought was a little bit random. Like, I feel like it kind of came out of nowhere, but it wasn't something that bothered me too much. I can't say it's like one of the best villains, but I liked how they tied everything together with the opening scene and the ending scene, and I thought all of that was pretty great. I also want to talk about the score, because I also really like the score of the movie. I liked how it tied into the old score of the original Ghostbusters, but also felt more modern and just fit the newer narrative, which I really enjoyed. I love when scores do that, especially in a sequel. And the last 15 minutes of this movie are my favorite of the entire film, and honestly might be some of my favorite last 15 minutes in any movie this year, because it was great. It really tied everything together, and I think if you're a Ghostbusters fan and you have not seen this movie, go watch it and you're going to love the ending of the movie, because I think it did justice to the movie as a whole, but the franchise as a whole, and just the fans, and I really appreciated that. And I'm gonna repeat it once again, but if anybody's watching this and you guys are gonna make a remake, a reboot, a sequel, look at how Ghostbusters did it, because I really do believe this is one of the better sequels out there. This movie rocked. It was so much fun. There were so many fun sequences. It really just felt like a feel-good movie, and I don't know, it's just, I loved seeing this at the movie theater. It reminded me why I like movies so much, because I ended this movie and I was like singing Ghostbusters and dancing and just having a blast, and it still had a super engaging plot that just the entire time I was like curious to find out what was going to happen next, and I think they did a good job at planting little seeds throughout to get you interested into what was going to happen next, and plant you and show you things that you were like, I wonder what that's going to be. And then it all, I think, fit together really nicely at the end, and I loved Ghostbusters Afterlife. If you haven't seen this movie, I highly recommend it, and I'm going to give Ghostbusters Afterlife a B. This movie was so great. I loved it so much. If you guys have not seen Ghostbusters Afterlife, please go see it. If you're a fan or if you're not a fan, I even think this movie is pretty watchable. If you haven't seen the original, obviously it would be so much more enhanced, but you can still watch it, because I think they do a good job at like I just think they do a good job at just making the story accessible to anybody, which I think is great. It does not rely too much on the other movies, although there are things in there, but it's just a pretty good time. I loved this movie so much, and I hope you guys did too, so let me know down below if you haven't already what you thought about it. And thank you guys again so much for watching and for all of the support. And if you're not subscribed to my channel, please make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you guys never miss when I upload. And you can also follow my social medias. All of that information is down in the description, and I hope to catch you guys in the next one. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye everyone!